Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Bullion. Before we begin, please hit the like and subscribe button. It'll help us grow tremendously. Joining us today is Lobo Tiggre, CEO of IndependentSpeculator.com. Lobo, welcome back.
Happy to be on the show, Ivan.
Yeah, happy to have you on. What an exciting time it is right now in precious metals. The recent moves in silver, the recent moves in gold, and they just keep on moving. But at the same time, a lot of people are saying, is it too good to be true? Nothing moves up, nothing goes up vertically forever. So are we going to have another correction, or is this the moment that silver goes to triple digits? What are your thoughts, Lobo?
Well, I'm going to get called Darth names again, but actually, I'm not bearish. I have been saying and writing for some time that the longer this correction and consolidation for gold over 4,000 goes, the more likely it is that the next big move is up. And I know you asked about silver, but silver, whether the GSR widens or contracts, it tracks gold.
hmm
So I do see that as the primary driver. And so it's hard to be bullish on gold and not be bullish on silver with a 90+% correlation, right? And the concern was that, going up to 4,400 was a peak and that was the top for the cycle. I mean, it's close enough to 5 grand, which was many predictions that some of those bulls had before, that you could say, 44 close enough. If it goes down, well, watch out below.
Right.
But that's not what's happening. It looks like 4,000 is the new 3,000, and the next big move is going to be upwards. So clearly that benefits silver. Now the scary thing, so that's the more bullish argument. I'm saying I think the next big move is likely upwards, including silver.
Right.
But even your diehard silver bulls, the most uber bullish of all, who never get called Darth anything at the silver conventions, they'll tell you that silver lags gold at first and then more than catches up at the end. So if we're in the more than catches up at the end part, that implies the end is nigh. But
Right.
I don't want the end to be nigh. I still have, I as a fundamentalist rather than a technical analyst, I think the debasement trade has years to run. So these things jar in my head. We shouldn't be at the end phase of this market. And the shoe shine boy and the lawnmower boy, they're not talking gold and silver yet. All these things that characterize a blow off top mania, we're not seeing those in the market yet. So Mr. Market doesn't care what I want, but my approach or the way I look at things tells me that we shouldn't be near the top yet. So this silver screaming northwards, well, if it's due to physical shortages, which a lot of silver bulls would say, yeah, there's not enough silver. But it's not that there's not enough silver in the world. It's that there's not enough silver at current price levels to clear contracts in London and the Comex and so on. That's a different thing from an actual non-appearance of the metal itself. So I'm trying to be careful here. I'm hoping that silver cools off a bit. We were within kissing distance of $60 an ounce this morning. And
Yeah.
I'm long, by the way. I'm not a bear hoping it goes down. I'm not the big short on silver. I'm long and I'm making money. I'm happy. But the bigger picture, I don't want the blow off top to be happening yet. But again, Mr. Market doesn't carry on. Sorry, this has been a long answer, but let me leave you with a couple things on this thing. One is, if we are going into the blow off top, I don't get my wish, and that's what's next. It's still the next big move is upwards. Like if this is it, the proverbial the blow off top, as crazy as it may sound, if you could know that was true, the smart way to play it would actually be to pile in now, even at all-time highs, and to go to the go-to names, the biggest, most well-known producers out there. When the generalist investor says, gold, silver, they're up. What's a gold stock? What's a silver stock? What are they going to find when they Google? Doug Casey used to call those the go-to companies. So anybody who's absolutely sure or sure enough to want to bet a lot of money on it, it pains me to say this, Ivan, but the way to play that is to go to those go-to companies, even if they're at all-time highs, because the next big move will be even higher. I can't say that I'm doing that with my own money yet, but that's what I would do if I believe that. And I got to say, the longer this goes, the more likely I'm to do that. The next big bet I make in gold and silver, if we don't get a correction, if it keeps going, I'm probably likely to do that very thing I just said. And even knowing that I'm paying all-time highs, I don't think I've ever done that in my life before. But the history tells us that if that's it, we're going into the blow off top, that the next big move is going to be upwards. And if not, if my other scenario works out, more, silver cools off, the current physical tightness in the market in London and so on cools off, and silver corrects as gold has been correcting, I actually think we'll make more money that way, Ivan.
Right.
And that volatility will give the Johnny come latelys time to buy at better prices.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say that's what I hope will happen, that doesn't mean I'm bearish on silver. It means that I want an opportunity to load up on more, and gold as well. And I want an opportunity for people new to the space who missed it before to buy at reasonable prices instead of all-time highs.
Do you think, hello, my fellow silver stackers? Today I am starting off a silver giveaway. I'm giving away 10 ounces of my own silver bar in my personal collection for December for Christmas. If you want to enter, all you have to do is hit the like button, subscribe, comment your favorite type of silver or what you think the silver prices will be by Christmas, and one person will be picked by the end of December. Yeah, I'm giving away free silver, so join in, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment your favorite type of silver or the price of silver you think will be by the end of December. Thank you so much. Do you think it's due the precious metals move right now so dramatically is due to monetary policy? Is it due to, just maybe the fundamentals of precious metals? Or a lot of people are speculating, and there's rumors swirling online about, JP Morgan shutting down its precious metals desk and moving it out to Asia. There's not enough, there's a big buyer that came out and is taking delivery of a ridiculous amount of silver. What are your thoughts right now on the moves? Like, what's the reasons?
Yeah, there's always these rumors on the internet, and it seems like they're never true.
Right.
It turned out that JP Morgan was spoofing gold and silver, or gold particularly. That one was true. Out of all the rumors over the last decades, that one turned out to be true. But notice that people forget they were spoofing it in both directions. So yes, they were caught red-handed manipulating the market, but they could spoof gold up as well as down. The goal of the spoofers was not to necessarily hammer gold down and manipulate gold lower.
They want to make money.
They wanted to make money cheating the market.
Right.
That's what they were caught doing. So, yeah, who knows? Some of these things might be true. I'm not going to bet on that basis. I do think that the broader, it's kind of hilarious now that the so-called debasement trade has become a thing on Wall Street. We in the hard assets world, we've been saying this since the 1970s.
Right.
and now Mr. Market's finally catching on. Now that doesn't make it untrue. It does make me suspect a little bit that, if the lightweights in the sector, glom onto some explanation, that makes me think that's probably something else, at least at the moment. And it's interesting. If it is the debasement trade, the central banks are buying gold with one or two minor exceptions. They're not buying silver. They're buying gold. Basel III covers gold, not silver. And for all the problems that, gold has for divisibility, sorry, but blockchain solves that. Like, that's not a problem anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Fractional ownership of gold, you don't need silver or copper pennies to make change for gold anymore. So even the monetary debasement or the monetary argument for gold doesn't really explain silver going to 60. So I do think it's multivariate. But big picture, I do, that when people say, well, how high can gold go? My answer is to turn around and say, well, when are governments going to stop debasing currency? How low can the dollar go is really the question. The late, great Richard Russell used to say, when people called him a gold bug, he'd say, I'm not a gold bug, you're a dollar bug. And
Right.
that's the way to look at it. It's not the gold price, it's the gold dollar exchange rate. Same for silver, right? So what you really need to know or think about long-term is, are governments ever going to get sane and rational and live within their means? Are currencies going to stabilize? Are they ever going to stop the debasement trade? and you and I both know, you're shaking your head. We know what
Yeah.
the answer to that is, and I think the audience does too. And I think that gives us confidence over the long term. Like we're right. My favorite chart in all our space is a chart of gold versus the purchasing power of the dollar since 1971, when Tricky Dick Nixon completely severed the dollar from gold. And
Yeah.
it's a giant X. If
Yeah.
you're patient and disciplined, that's all you really need to know. Ivan, if you were late and you bought gold in 2011 at the very top, that's less than half of what gold is now, right? So you've not only been made whole, you doubled your money. And okay,
Right.
it took 10 years, well, 14 years, but you know, you doubled your money. All you had to do is believe in that big X over time, and you were right, and everybody else was wrong.
Right.
So, I think that's sort of the bedrock to stand on. What's going to happen in this week, tomorrow, next year, that's a bigger issue. And so maybe in terms of that, for investable time frame, in terms of the stocks, because I don't trade gold or silver. That's my savings. I
Hmm.
trade stocks to try to make money. I'm looking for hockey sticks. So
Hmm.
so that question isn't the eventual debasement question of the giant X chart. The question is, can anybody imagine the Fed tightening anytime soon? As you and I speak, I don't know when this will go live, but as we speak, ADP just reported another 35,000 private payroll jobs disappeared.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
that's their weekly number now, I think. So I just, never mind Trump's pressure on the Fed. The numbers there, the reasons for them to shift from being more worried about inflation to be more worried about labor, I think that dual mandate pushes them on the labor side. I think that supports our thesis. That's bullish for monetary metals. It's bullish for anything real. Anything governments can't print in that environment where the Fed is cutting. Um, that's I think that's a reason to be optimistic. Makes me a little nervous to say that with all-time highs or near all-time highs, but that's the way the market works. When investors, when not you or I, but when Comex traders think the Fed's going to raise rate, oh, gold doesn't pay interest, so we're going to sell gold. If they think the Fed's going to cut rates, well, oh, gold doesn't pay interest, so that less competition will buy gold, right? But actually, sorry, let me go sideways one other direction. I think there's a very important, large, and not exactly new buyer, but there are whales in the gold space and they're buying. And I think that the between the debasement trade going mainstream and the geopolitical troubles in the world and the even if you love the Trump agenda, the extremeness of the change that Trump is trying to implement and the impact that has on shaking, the economy up. All of these things make people very nervous, and that's very bullish for safe haven assets. So what I'm saying is, I think there are very deep pockets, not just central banks buying. It's
Yeah.
that old rule thing about how, the global allocation to gold historically is 2%. Recently, it's been 0.5%. So it doesn't need to go crazy. If it just reverts to mean, goes from half to two, that's a 4 times multiplier on investment demand for gold.
Right.
Prove this, Ivan, but I think this is what's happening now. I think there are deep pockets saying, you know what, you know, I'm not, going to build a gold-filled bunker in Idaho, but it wouldn't hurt to hedge my portfolio with a bit
Yeah.
of gold.
Yeah. No, I,
Welcome to the Cayman Islands, a premier offshore jurisdiction where natural beauty meets financial stability. Here, your wealth is more than secure. It thrives in one of the most trusted and respected financial centers in the world. For over a decade, SWP has been the trusted choice for precious metal investors worldwide. Our purpose-built 6,000 square foot facility sets a new standard in precious metals storage. We are proud to be one of the only vault operators approved by the London Bullion Market Association. Beyond safeguarding your assets, we're committed to making a difference in our community by supporting local causes and events that reflect our values. As we continue to expand and innovate our services, we ensure that your wealth is safe and strategically positioned to shield you from the uncertainties that lie ahead. Strategic wealth preservation, trusted today and ready for tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely, Lobo. You nailed it, and I think that's exactly what's happening too. And who's to say it could be more than 2%? So that would be, if it's just slowly creaking up year by year or, month by month, and people are just starting to wake up.
If
Yeah.
the AI bubble blows, I think you'll see some serious, like, okay, the initial liquidity event, everything gets whacked, including gold. But after that initial liquidity event, that fear kicks in,
Hmm.
that should be very bullish for safe haven alternatives.
Yeah, absolutely. Lobo, thank you so much for coming down today. What an incredible conversation, especially with what's going on today. This episode will be out today, so it will be out in the next 3, 4 hours. But I want people to connect with you. Can they just go to independentspeculator.com, or is that the best place? Where can they connect?
Sure. Well, if they want a daily dose of Lobo, I'm on Twitter X at Due Diligence Guys, my handle. So it's actually a fairly polite little corner of the social media universe. Thoughtful people go there and
Hmm.
try to post things worth doing. But yeah, independentspeculator.com. I have a free weekly digest, and you can sign up for that. I won't spam you with advertisements. And if you like the way I think, maybe you can hire me to be your due diligence guy via my paid services.
No, I really, really appreciate it. Everyone, highly recommend you go follow Lobo's work. But thank you so much, Lobo. Thank you for coming on a short notice. And as the market develops, I really, really would love to have you back on because I know there's going to be more exciting things from now to December. I could just feel it. But thank you so much, Lobo.
Happy to do it, Ivan.
Take care.